All right, welcome to the Rich CELENZA Show. I'm Rich CELENZA. The show's called WTF Are You Talking About? I have a special guest today, Harrison Loeks.
Yo.
And a puppy, his dog. What's the name of the dog?
Duncan.
So we love this dog. Anyway, so what I want to get into today, Harrison is a professional gamer.
Yeah, okay, professional. Okay.
Pretty close. Be honest, how many hours a week do you play video games? Be honest.
I don't want to talk about that. That's not.
Well, let's break it down per day.
Okay.
What do you think? 8 to 10 hours?
Well, since summer started and I'm off school.
Let's do summers.
Oh, Jesus. In a week, probably like 50 to 60.
Right. How about even during school?
Like probably 30 to 40.
Right.
Yeah.
You started off at what age?
5.
Playing Halo, correct?
Yeah. But it wasn't common, though, when I started, though. Obviously, nowadays, I have every kid playing, but...
Right, so you started playing with your father, is that correct? Or who'd you start playing with? Your uncle?
My dad. My uncle, yeah.
So your dad was playing Halo, or was he playing something else?
No, he's playing Halo.
All right, so you are still huge into Halo.
I was just playing it, yeah.
So this is one of the reasons I have Harrison as a guest is because a lot of my friends, family members, colleagues, and everything in between, they have children and they deal with having kids that are, they think, addicted to video games. So I was at a party this weekend for my buddy's son's party, and they were all in the pool. And before you know it, they all jumped out of the pool, and they all wanted to play Fortnite. The whole gang just got out and said, we're jumping on Fortnite. So, can you hear the puppy breathing? So anyways, while we're there, we're all looking at each other laughing because in the old days, obviously, a lot of people that are middle-aged, they would be outside. They would have never gave up a pool to go inside and play a video game necessarily. So, let's go back to you now. Why do you think so many kids are addicted or love video games?
I mean, there's just these variety of genres that they can play, like so many worlds they can go. They can be something else better than themselves. I mean, it just depends.
Do you think, so when I grew up, video games with Atari and television, all those were still popular, and my father eventually ended up in the vending business. So he owned a nightclub, and he had video games in there, and then he ended up going in the video. We had a lot of video games, let's say, out there that but it was more like 3D golf, but we still did like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and then as time went on, we had other games. But it seems like now the level of games are way more advanced, right?
Yeah.
So do you think that, so we escaped by really, I think, playing some video games at home and then going to the movies. Would you say now, really with video games, they've kind of taken over and they're better than, obviously, ever, as far as video games, they're better than most movies out there, they're better than most television shows, they're better than almost any other entertainment, I guess, out there.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah, they're an escape, essentially.
Right. What do you think the future is going to be with video games? With the virtual?
Yeah, virtual reality. Yeah.
Do you do virtual now?
No, it's too expensive.
Now you're obsessed. You love Microsoft.
Yeah.
You've played the virtual games where?
At the Microsoft store.
Right.
They have demos there.
What's so expensive about it now? Tell me now the next phase of that. You have to buy the gear, the mask?
The headset, yeah. Well, what happens is you have to have a really high-end gaming PC with high-end components.
Okay.
And it's just like, to get those really good graphics in games and get really immersed, you have to get that really strong computer. So it's not just the headset. The headset's like $500. It's getting cheaper. It's just still the computer is very expensive.
Oh, I didn't know that. So I thought it was all built into the mask. It's not.
Well, there's some that are coming out, but they're just not as good as the ones you would need with a computer.
Can you play Fortnite on that?
No,
virtual.
Fortnite's not virtual reality yet, no.
You can play Fortnite, though, from what I understand, just on any piece, or what is it? Like if you have a Mac or if you have a
Yeah, it's a pretty mid-range
Microsoft.
game. Yeah.
Anyone can play it on any computer.
It's on the phones, too, now.
So that's the most popular game out there for the most part.
I don't play it. Like mostly for little kids right now. Most little kids play it.
Teenagers?
I don't say much teenagers. Much like more little kids. I don't see it.
I see adults playing it. My cousin
None of my
plays it.
friends play it. None of my friends.
So Harrison just graduated high school. He's going into college. Most of all your friends all seem to be at night or throughout the day playing with you, right?
Yeah, we play Minecraft now.
Oh, wow,
That's
crazy.
the game for us.
Isn't Minecraft out of California, Southern Cal, the corporate headquarters? I used to live in San Diego, and I might be mistaken. But so you and your friends get to enjoy basically still being all together and doing something as a group through video games constantly.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how we stay in touch.
Right, because Harrison used to live in Jacksonville. He came to Orlando, Florida, but he is still, obviously, you talk and communicate with your friends probably just as much as you did when you lived there, right? Except you don't see him as much.
Yeah, pretty much.
So now, what was I going to ask you regarding this? What do you, do you think you're just going to, do you think you're addicted, basically?
On some level, probably, yeah.
Do you think what do you think eventually is going to lean you off of this? Or do you never want to be leaned off of it? Or do you think, like, your future is I'm going to be playing video games for 4 to 6 hours a day for basically the rest of my life? Or do you think...
I don't know, just responsibilities, jobs, a life. I mean, once I go to college, I'm going to be studying a lot. I already know this, I've looked into it. I'll have more things to do when I'm out and about.
What is your favorite thing to do, obviously, in your life? Is it video games?
I mean, at the moment, yeah.
How long's it been that way? It's like I'm interrogating you.
I mean, I guess since cross-country's been over for me.
You seem to have the personality, though. You love video games, but you have such a great personality. You're so honest with yourself, where a lot of people, I think, deny... I'm not saying they're addicted, but they deny how much... they love playing video games, or they deny how much they do play.
I mean, I think people don't see it as an addiction. It's because everyone plays it so common, Like an addiction would be like something that's like only like, one person that does it. But since everyone is playing as much, it doesn't seem as, crazy to play that much. So it doesn't seem as an addiction. It just seems normal.
Right, that's kind of like when I grew up, a lot of us would play a lot of sports. It'd be like all of a sudden saying all you care about is playing sports. You jump from baseball to football.
It seemed normal to you, right?
It seemed normal to always want to play sports or play outside on your bike, skateboard, where yours is more, obviously, inside, right? I think a lot of parents, though, they kind of judge their kids, or they think they're wasting a lot of time, or they're lazy. Regarding this whole video game situation, what do you think regarding that?
What?
That they're being called lazy and all that stuff. Do you feel like you're lazy, or do you feel like that's ridiculous? Do you think it's like more...
No, I mean, I think that if you play a lot as much as I do, I think it's some level you're probably lazy, because there's so many more things you could do. Like clean your room, make your bed. And that's a lot of things people don't do because they're playing video games. But you just gotta balance it.
When we went to your graduation party, your friends this last weekend, right? Yeah. Was when everybody went upstairs and the parents kind of were downstairs. Were you guys playing video games the entire time?
Yeah, but they're like party games, though.
Right, that's a different type of... What's that mean, then?
Well, we were playing this game called Jackbox.
Okay.
Where it's like you use your phones, and it displays on the screen. Okay. You play one game together with everyone using their phones to interact with the game on the TV.
Right.
So it's a lot different than most games.
When you go... So I notice a lot of times, even when we... Say you'll be playing a video game, and then you leave, and then you're immediately on your phone. Are you playing a video game then on your phone, or are you on your phone social media-wise? What are you doing?
Both. Yeah, I'm playing a game mostly if I'm out.
A different game now?
Yeah.
A different style game?
A different game, yes. Because there's different mobile games, than console games.
Are you, because you're 18, do you think your generation, which is much different than somebody even in their mid-20s, I believe. Like, I think somebody in their mid-20s is so different than somebody your age that I see. Just like from 30 to 20, everyone's different. Do you think your generation growing up is not going to be... So let's just take, for instance, 10 years ago, MySpace, then Facebook came in, and then whatever, say YouTube now, or whatever the case may be. Do you think you guys are getting away from, like, I'm not saying movies are going out of style or all that. Do you think it's just going to be basically more video game driven than anything else?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I think Marvel is keeping the movies up pretty much.
Yeah, me too.
But there's a lot of video games revolving around Marvel stuff, so it's pretty much they're enforcing each other. They're both getting strong together, I would say. I think movies have gotten more popular than the past couple of years. I think they're starting to rise again.
Yeah, because of Marvel and a lot of the superhero stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So when you are at a movie theater, when you're going to, would you rather stay home and play a video game, or would you rather go to the movies?
I mean, it depends if I have friends to go with, you know.
So it's really kind of based on the ensemble a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But if your friends want to stay home and play a video game, because I think the difference between when I was younger playing video games is we didn't have access to our other friends. You can only play video games if they came to your house or you went to theirs, or you went to an arcade, usually in a group.
Yeah.
Right? It's so different as far as that goes. Yeah, because I see, like you, for instance, and I may be wrong, and I see a lot of your friends where social media doesn't have that place in their, like, it doesn't have the presence it does with even somebody a few years older than you. If that kind of makes sense. Like, I don't think your generation cares that much about Facebook.
No, we don't.
I think
Instagram is very popular.
Instagram is, right?
Yeah.
But still, like, I can't say men and women. I'm just saying the guys I see you with. Video games you'll be on that way more than you'll be on some social media.
Yeah.
Right? Presence.
Pretty much.
Or website. It's because it's more interactive.
Yeah, it's more interactive. It's more of a stimulant, you know, because there's more things going on. You know, there's something always happening. Action.
I think so too. I can only imagine if I was your age, and I wasn't huge into video games, but if I look at social media, you're looking at other people's lives, right? You're posting what you're doing, then you're seeing what everybody else is doing. In your case, in your generation, you kind of all know what you're doing because you're kind of all doing the same thing, which is playing video games with one another, right? I'm just saying. So I don't have to look at my friend, even though I'm middle-aged. But if I have friends that I was always playing video games with, and then if I wasn't playing video games with them, then we all kind of went to the movies together. But when you're at home, you're usually interacting with almost all your friends, 5-6 hours a day, depending on how they're coming in and out.
Yeah.
Do you set schedules up for that? How does that work?
No, everyone just jumps on whatever they want because it's so easy. Because we use an app called Discord.
Okay.
Where we can talk to each other. You know, we create these servers and we can, like, customize it, create, like, voice chat rooms and whatnot to our liking. And then we just hop in whenever we want. Because there's usually at least 2 people on at a time.
Do you text each other ever to say, hey, I'm getting on or I'm getting off, or you just randomly just all know you're jumping on and off?
It's usually random, hopping on and off. People go as they please.
So you have a group of 6 or 8 guys, I think, right?
Yeah, 6 to 8.
You're a tight group, and then you meet other people through this as well, ever, or no?
Not lately, no. It's just our friends together.
When you go to Comic-Con, MegaCon, or any of those type of things because that's originally that I was seeing is, what was the video game you love? I'm sorry, what was the first one?
Halo.
Yeah, Halo. When I used to go, Halo was the biggest thing at MegaCon in Orlando, Florida. It was huge. When you go to those, let me put it this way. It's not only just the game, you collect all the artifacts as well, right? Like, video games is not just you looking at a screen playing a game. No. It's like you got stuffed animals, or you got...
Yeah, there's a bunch of merchandise, action figures, you know.
All that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's quite interesting because, like, my generation, again, we grew up with Star Wars, and you'd buy Star Wars figures. I'm just saying, you guys are playing video games, but you also can get characters off of that.
Yeah, well, what makes this so appealing is with part of having this is, like, you have something you actually have, you know? It's, like, physical. Obviously, playing a video game, that's exciting, but you have something physical. And with some of these things, there's, like, limited edition.
Right.
And it's, like, you want to have that so you can feel special.
Right.
Pretty much. There's a certain amount, you know, and that's the whole thing that's, you know, part of it.
Yeah, you don't even know this, but my second feature film that I created, Insanity, I based it around you actually watching somebody like you'd be watching a video game. That's how I kind of shot it. 2 parallel different lives. There were 2 people. They were actually, I don't want to give it away, but they were twins. And they didn't even know they were twin brothers, but you saw 2 different lives. But then I created a video game based on my movie. And I did that with Full Sail University. Did you even know that?
No, I never.
I never told you that. So in 2005... From 2004 to 5, they created a video game. Full Sail picked my project out of I don't know how many. It was 13 guys, and they made a video game based on my movie because they liked it. And then we won Best Independent Video Game in San Francisco Festival.
Okay.
And I went to Full Sail, which is it's a private screening area, and they showed the video game to like 200 people, and they said that was the most advanced video game ever created out of Full Sail at that time. Yeah. Which is pretty crazy, right?
That's pretty cool.
And that was some of the best experiences of my life, dealing with those kids in 2005 or 2004 and 5, because I went to a festival. I pitched it. They loved it. And for like a year and a half, 2 years, we went back and forth. It was a master's program. And I couldn't believe how smart those kids were, and I loved those kids. And when we kind of did the screening with a couple hundred people with all their parents coming, it was like I started to tear up because the place was giving them a standing ovation, and I loved somebody creating something off of what I created.
Yeah.
And when I would meet with them, they were so young. We'd all meet out for dinner or wherever, and I'd order drinks for them. They would get carded. They couldn't even drink. I forgot how young they were. And I think a lot of parents don't realize how smart their kids are, or how intelligent they are, or they think they're being programmed or brainwashed. And I also think a lot of parents are like, well, if they love video games so much, why don't you just go make video games? Mm-hmm. Just because you love playing video games doesn't necessarily mean you're good at creating video games.
100% agree.
Right? It's like movies. A lot of people love movies. That doesn't mean you're going to make great movies.
Well, that's the illusion, right? There's a lot of kids that are trying to go in that business, and they realize there's not a big market for it right now still. Even with all these, indie industries, these companies, it's just like, these companies, they go through employees so quickly with game development.
Right.
Yeah, did you know that?
Yeah, and they get flooded. It's flooded now. The markets are all flooded.
Oh, yeah, because there's so many,
Right.
They can go through it. It's terrible.
Did you consider going to Full Sail, or going to even UCF, or going to LA or New York, or
because it's like you want to get you play video games so much. It's like it's like it's something I like. I want to get into this. But,
right.
You can't. Not everyone can do that.
No, because it's a whole different.
It's a whole different thing.
It's a whole different. I mean, that is redundant too. It's not as obviously as fun. It's like when I was even creating a film, making a movie and watching a film. Holy shit! And everybody thinks it's so much easier than it is. It's it's unbelievable.
It's tough.
I didn't even realize when I did it, they were called, I think, Team 913, when they created the video game for me and my film, how long that was going to take. And we'd have meetings, and they'd be like, Rich, we want to do this, we want to do this. I said, guys, my film was called Insanity, and it was about hitmen and a mob and all this underground stuff. I said, you can do whatever you want to do. Just don't put like a pink scarf on them or make them like as a joke. But they kept wanting to push it and make it better and better, which I didn't realize, even having that many people involved, how long it took. Mm-hmm. And then when we went to the screening and the showing of it, how many hours, because the professors in Full Sail and all of them were there, and it was a master's program. It was for kids that came back. And they only picked 2 projects for those kids for the whole, I think, year or 2, or I was one of them. Another one was a roller coaster that they wanted to design. But I was blown away by when they were talking about the hours that they actually put in this team, and what it takes to really create something like that is unbelievable. I can't imagine. And then when they all left, one went to San Francisco, I think, California. He's still there, Jason. I think one went to Tokyo, one went to New York, one stayed to teach. One, I think, went to South Florida for some reason or another, and then the other ones just kind of, I don't know where they all went, because there was an inner circle of us 5, and then there was 13 on a whole. But that was crazy. Yeah. I thought you were going to end up probably going to Full Sail and getting involved with video games or that, but that's something you're not interested in.
No, because it's tough. It's tough. There's a lot of competition.
Is video game, you think, an escape from reality?
Oh, for Obviously. Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Do you like that better than reality? It's okay, because I talk about that myself sometimes. Like when I'm traveling, do you sometimes like traveling better than home, or do you like the It's.
I mean, I don't mean to I don't mean to take the high road, but I mean, I think I like reality better. Personally. I mean, this is just me. My generation might be different, but I prefer reality.
Right. Do you think a lot of kids your age would rather not deal with reality and obviously just rather deal with the video game?
I don't know about my kids my age. It's, I think younger, I've seen it, like I have a little cousin. I know for sure he'd rather play video games than, deal with reality. Yeah.
You, I think, so you have an older sister who's 20, and my kids are 20 and 21, and I think your sister and my daughters were the last of the Mohicans because they grew up still with, like, we were just talking about this, with pen and paper. You go into a restaurant.
I still prefer pen and paper.
Do you really?
Yeah, I do.
But, like, when you go into a restaurant, you color. Mm-hmm. They weren't part of the iPad or the cell phone. We had cell phones. Like, was one of the first ones to get an Apple phone, but my kids were, like, 10 or 11 or 12. They didn't grow up with me constantly handing them a phone, playing a video game there, or an iPad.
Yeah.
Or that you were, right? You were the generation that just started the iPad, right?
I mean, I didn't have one when I was young. I didn't have one. No.
Right. But a lot of kids your age, roughly, maybe even a little younger, grew up always dealing with technology as far as being able to go to a restaurant, even as a 2, 3, 4, 5 years old, going on an airplane, having an iPad, having a phone that their parents could give to them.
No, not my generation.
No, it was younger?
No, a little younger, yeah.
A little younger? So then you would, too, fall in that category, where technology kind of came in a little later, if that makes sense. But you still were playing Halo, but at home.
Yeah,
right?
at home. No, there was nothing portable, really, except like maybe a Game Boy, but that's different. You know, there was no iPod, iPhone, iPad. No, there was none of that. Not until I was like 10.
Right. Because my 2 kids have 2 younger brothers, half-brothers, and they always talk about those kids, not that it's bad, they only know technology, right? They only know, they don't really even use paper that much, I think maybe in school a little bit here and there.
Probably just school.
For school. But when it comes to traveling, like I just said, or anything else, they're so used to having, I mean, they're growing up with a cell phone that is everything right in front of them.
Yeah.
It's kind of amazing because everything is right. They can have whatever they want immediately, like instant gratification, right?
Yeah.
That's interesting because that's going to be a whole different level, I think, of a type of child to deal with as they're going into their teens. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, because I think the parents sometimes, especially if they're middle-aged, they can't relate to that to a certain degree.
No.
But I am kind of realizing I'm addicted to YouTube. And my cell phone
That's
as
a
well.
lot of people nowadays.
Yeah,
all ages probably.
Yeah, YouTube. I realized, especially now that I'm a YouTube Premium. Is that what you kind of convinced me to do?
YouTube Premium. Yeah.
I don't have any commercials.
No ads. Yeah.
I post all my own YouTube videos now, and I'm always on YouTube just watching anything I ever want to watch.
Would you say you get sucked into the recommended tab, where it like recommends you videos after video?
I love that at night.
Yeah, it sucks you in.
It sucks me in at night. Like
that's everybody with that.
Yeah, when I travel at night, it's like between midnight and 2 a.m, all these and it's coming at me, and I'm like, oh my God, I like that, I like this. It's I like the it's almost spontaneous. It's almost like listening to a radio station, but I get to pick instead of any song popping up. Like if you listen to 80s, hypothetically, sometimes it pops up, you're like, I didn't like that then, I don't like it now. But with YouTube, it'll pop up 20 videos. I'm like, oh my God, I can pick and choose. Plus, I didn't even know this person put out a new video.
And it looks interesting.
Yeah, it looks very interesting. So I see my addiction, not the video game now. I'm seeing my addictions coming true to the cell phone, because when I travel by myself all the time, I'm always with my cell phone. It's like my best friend. Then I come home and I'm having a problem removing that.
Are you always watching something?
It seems like I'm always now watching or listening to something. With my I wear my headphones more than you guys. Remember you were making fun of me?
Yeah.
We were out to dinner.
Yeah.
And you go, Rich is like a teenager.
You're still wearing them.
I know. You're like, we'll go to Kobe, even a nice restaurant. I'm either videotaping to make a video about where I'm at, or I'm watching a YouTube video, or I'm listening to an Italian channel, or learning Italian.
I think that's me as well. I'm always listening something, watching something, you know. It's like I can't not have something to listen to or watch, or else I'll get instantly bored, or
I know.
I just get irritated.
It's horrible. Even when I'm with, like I was with Demi, I got to put the phone down because I'm listening to something while I'm driving, most likely. So I'm going there listening. Then I'm with her, and I still have the headphones on. I'm still kind of listening. It's like, but I'm not into the radio or anything else. Really not even in TV because there's too many commercials.
Yeah.
But do you think that's another thing too with the video game? You don't have any distractions ever if you think about it, right? Because there's no advertising, any of that shit. You just go into the zone.
Mm-hmm.
Do you
Instant
think
gratification.
What do you think physically that's doing to you though? From a physical standpoint, so you would work out before, but let's face it, you'd rather be playing a video game.
Yeah.
Does it make you?
Because it's instant gratification. You know, it's like with working out, you got to work at it. And you don't see anything for like forever, for a few months, and then video game, it's like, oh, you immediately see something, unlock something. You know, pretty much.
What's the end result with you think playing? Like, is a video game? I know it's infinite. You think, or like is that the word? I don't like. Every game you play, can you master the game and then it ends, you think? Or will it go on forever, a lot of video games?
I mean, it depends on the game. Like, there's free-to-play games where it'll just keep going on and on and on. But there'll be some games where it's like a AAA game, like Halo or something, and there's an end game where you unlock everything, and then it's like, then there's nothing to do. And then you go into the next game, pretty much, that's what happens.
Why is so many people obsessed with Fortnite?
Fortnite, because it's ever evolving game. There's always new content every single day. The feeling of winning like over 100 people every game, then you have your friends, a squad, and that's about it.
Same situation, you can hear one another too, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, and you can all play on your phones too if you're in a group, or do you all play at home with your joysticks or whatever the hell they're called?
You can play on a
Your
phone,
PC.
phone, console, PC all together in one game. There's crossplay now. It's huge.
With Fortnite, do you create your own character, or they already have characters you choose from?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Ever evolving. They have like new, character costumes you can have, or
Different dances, different
dances,
weapons.
weapons. Yeah, pretty much.